people are joining, I will just talk for a moment. For those who don't know, my name is Sequoia Johnson. I'm the older adult advocate for the system. So feel free to contact me if you have any suggestions, ideas, comments about what you would like to see at the library for older adults. We have some classes back there looking around the library. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's about 60 kids back there just having a tour of the library. So anyways, you do have my email. For those of you who joined on Eventbrite, you have my email that you can get in touch with me that way, or you can get in touch with me through Deborah at Circle of Care. She has my email as well. So we're planning now for March and April, and Dr. Gupta is going to be joining us again, it looks like, although nothing is confirmed yet, but most likely there's another really exciting series being planned on circadian rhythms and health. That's not the title, but that's basically the gist of it. So that's very exciting, and there'll be more to come on that. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Shilpi Gupta. She's a biologist and science communicator, and she's the founder of Curious and Creative Labs, an organization that embodies a passion for blending curiosity and creativity. At the heart of her mission is the belief that science should be communicated efficiently and effectively, yet in a simple and fun way, enabling individuals to understand the language of the body and live better, happier lives. She strives to bridge the gap between scientific knowledge and the public and to make complex concepts, sorry, I'm just admitting somebody here, accessible, ensuring that science is not intimidating, but rather a fascinating journey of discovery for all. So thank you very much, Shilpi, and I'll hand it over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And good to see you all. First of all, welcome to the grand finale of our Healthy Aging webinar series. So this is the last talk, and I'm so happy to see you all. So throughout the series, our focus has been on empowerment. Too often, the notion of aging is unfairly linked with a loss of control over our bodies and minds. However, our aim with this series has been to shatter that misconception. Aging is an unavoidable and natural transformative journey, but it doesn't mean surrendering control. We still hold on the steering wheel, empowered to navigate this journey in a way that promotes health and vitality. So, today we will discover the incredible power of microbes on our overall health. As always, I will be sharing science backed techniques that can effortlessly integrate into our lifestyle to support our gut microbiome. So, we started this healthy aging series by understanding ways to optimize sleep, followed by sessions on brain health, mobility, and preventing falls, understanding ways to build emotional and mental resilience. And we are ending this series with a discussion on gut microbiome. So, each session complements the other, providing you with a diverse toolkit. So, if you have not attended any of these sessions, don't worry, we have recording Sequoia. I think there will be it will be published on the YouTube channel of the library. And if you want to have it a copy of this, like to guide you through the journey, I also have a book which I will be discussing later. I will be telling you where you can buy the book if you are interested. But let's begin the journey of gut microbiome. Let's understand about gut microbiome. So, first of all, we will be talking about the science of gut microbiome. Why are they important? What are they doing in our bodies? And in the second part of this talk, I will be discussing simple yet very powerful tools which can be followed to keep the microbiome healthy and which in turn will help your gut to be healthy. So, first of all, what are microbiome? What are microbes? And the collection of this is called microbiome. But this slide gives you a little bit information. It's a collection of different kind of microbes we have. Why we call them microbes? Because these are too small. They cannot be seen through our naked eye. We need a special microscope to see them. And these are the images which we see under the microscope. And they look pretty, right? They are like, they have different shapes, they have different colors, they have different roles. And these microbiomes basically come in three major categories: bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And one of the viruses, we have heard it so much, SARS-CoV-2, which caused COVID-19 and still is in news. So most of the time, these microbiome get the bad reputation because they are considered as the disease carriers. They are always considered the bad guys. But here I'm telling you something different. I'm telling you about the good microbiomes, about the microbiomes which are supporting our health, and we will learn about that. But so these little guys, they are small but they are everywhere. They inhabit possibly every nook and cranny on our planet. From the deep depths on the ocean to the highest mountain, from the soil in our gardens and the air we breathe, these microbiomes are everywhere. So, this image is 10,000 times magnified, and it has been done through a very special microscope, which is called scanning electron microscope. So, this is E. coli. So, it is a group of bacteria, as you can see. So, as I was mentioning, whenever you hear these term microbes, what comes into your mind? It must be like they are harmful, we should avoid them, they make us ill. And but if I tell you only 1% of these total microbiomes are actually the bad guys, the rest 99% are actually good. So, but the bad ones gets all the publicity. So microbes can make you ill, but what you may not realize is that trillions of microbes are living in and on your body right now. Most don't harm you at all. In fact, they help you to digest food, protect against infection, and even maintain your reproductive health. We tend to focus on destroying bad microbes, but taking care of good ones may be even more important. And in this webinar, we will learn ways to support the health of our tiny friends. So, this figure will tell you where these microbes are present. So, right now, they are inside us and they are on us. So, these microbes are present on your skin. These microbes are present in the throat and mouth, in the nose, stomach, gut, and even vagina. So if we can consider, this is how we look. We have a lot of microbes inside us. So for the longest time, we didn't knew about these good bacteria or the whole microbial community in and out our body. So let me tell you something interesting and a fun story about how we discovered them. So in 2003, the Human Genome Project announced that it has completed sequencing every base pair of DNA from an individual human and mapping all the genes. So this was known as genome. Um, so from the Human Genome Project, we learned that the human genome has about 20,000 protein coding genes. And 20,000 was a very small number because this number is also shared by a common mouse or a banana. So banana also has 20,000 genes and we also have 20,000 coding genes. So what makes us different from banana? We have something which banana don't have. We have a whole colony of these microbes living inside us. And if you see this figure, this is only our genes, the orange ones. The rest are the genes which are expressed by these microbial community. This is just to tell you how important they are and how important is to support their health. Okay, so what has changed? Our microbial community has changed throughout the ages. This figure will tell you like we were hunter-gatherer. We started as a hunter-gatherer 10,000 years ago. And then agriculture was the prominent source of our food. And then we have industrial food, and now it's mostly processed, sanitized food. So, as you can imagine, as our food is changing, so is the microbial community changing inside us. Earlier we used to have diverse range of food. We used to hunt for food, and we used to have a lot of different varieties of food, and it was seasonal. uh, and so our gut microbiome evolved eating that food with us. But right now, when the agriculture revolution happened, the variety, the diversity kind of like got diluted. We have only one kind of species of banana right now. Um, so this actually impacted a lot on the microbial diversity inside us. And along with that, the rise of antibiotics. So antibiotics is to kill the bad bacteria, but they don't distinguish between the bad and the good. So whenever you are taking antibiotics, you are actually also killing the good microbial community inside you. And that is the major two major thing which happened which happened, and it drastically changed the microbial community inside us. So I'm talking a lot about gut microbiome, but what this gut looks like. So this is we call gut. It starts from your stomach, it goes to your small intestine, large intestine, colon, and it end with your anus. So it is a big region, and this is all involved in the digestion, right? So this is where your digestion and your everything which you are eating is being converted into energy. And you can imagine this is a major part for your vitality, right? You will get energy whatever food you're eating. If you are not able to digest it and absorb the nutrients from it, you are not actually getting all the benefits. Sometimes we think we are eating good healthy diet, but if we don't have a good microbiome community inside us, this whole thing will just pass on from here and come out from the other side, and it will not give us the nutrition. So that is also important thing which to be keep in mind, that eating healthy doesn't always mean absorbing everything, every good nutrient from that particular thing. And for that, we need these microbial community inside us. So this is from a recent study which is published in one of the highest ranking journal in science, Cell. And this study shows you a gut, your this is your gut lining, and this is the microbial community, and this is the opposite side, right? So this is an intact gut. So we have around trillions of microbes living inside our gut, and if we are not supporting the microbial colonies, we are not giving them the right diet, this gut lining can be invaded by these microbes and go on the other side. And once this gut lining is invaded, it is called dysbiosis, and then all the gut inflammation and all that gut problems starts to happen, and there will be a lot of inflammation in the gut, all the acidity and all the complications with the digestive system will start to happen. And so this will tell you what the gut microbiome actually likes. So this is how it goes, right? So there is two pathways. One is when you are eating a very high glucose food, which is your dessert, and this is a complex. This is a complex carbs, broccoli, right? So when it is going inside, this food is immediately breaking down into sucrose. Sucrose is just the two molecules of glucose, and then it will break down into glucose. So the breakdown of the dessert into glucose is a very rapid process, right? So you don't have to do too much. And that's why we enjoy eating desserts so much, because our brain our brain and our body is being fueled by glucose. So glucose actually triggers dopamine and we crave for that, right? So that's why we are addicted to high sugary food. But it is not good for our microbial community and it is not good for our gut. Why? Because it is immediately broken down into sugar, and this sugar attracts a lot of bad bacteria, and it was not giving any food to the good bacteria. On the other hand, what happens when you eat broccoli, for example, broccoli will not increase your dopamine, and that is why you don't like broccoli too much. Broccoli is not good for like this dopamine signaling in our brain, but it is very good for our gut. Why? Because this will take time to digest. This will stay in the food and this will slowly digest. And when it is slowly digesting, it also has a lot of fiber. And this fiber is actually feeding your gut microbiome. So you are eating a food which is good for you and good for your bacteria. So that is what you're doing when you are eating fibrous food. It is not giving you immediate happy signal in your brain, but it is actually making your gut happy. And once your gut is happy, slowly it will give your brain a signal of satisfaction, and you will eat less, your microbes will be happy, your gut will be happy. So this is what happens in these two different scenarios. So here, this slide tells you starving gut microbiome eats you. This is what I was mentioning to you before. So this is here a fiber rich diet. So this was an experiment done by the same group of scientists where I showed you before. So this is two group of mice, which are, one was fed with fiber rich diet and the other was fed with fiber deficient diet, or the high calorie, high sugary diet. So after a few weeks, it was found that this guy has a intact gut lining with healthy bacterial colony. But on the other hand, the mice which were eating high sugary diet, their gut, as you can see in this picture, the gut is perforated. So this bacteria didn't get anything to eat, and what it did, it ate your gut lining. Because if it is not getting anything to eat, it has to survive. It will eat the gut lining, and slowly you will see that the gut in this case, the microbial population will slowly reduce, and only one type of microbiome will only survive, which is strong microbiome, which might not be a good one, because we need a good diversity to keep our microbial community happy. So this tells you very important message that when you are eating something, think about your gut microbiome as well. And what they like, we will discuss a little bit more, but you get the idea that they like fibers. And we need to eat fiber rich food, the food which is taking time to digest, and it's staying there and helping the gut microbiome to feed as well. So also, as you can understand a little bit, that there is a relationship between what you eat and how your gut microbiome is reacting. This slide is very interesting. So this will tell you how the gut microbiome is actually also keeping you either obese or lean. So depending upon your gut, you are, as I was mentioning, whatever food you are eating, you are thinking you are eating a healthy diet, but still you are getting obese. Why is it? Because your gut microbiome might not be a healthy microbiome which will support you to lose that extra fat. So this is also important, that the microbiota of obese mice shows an increased capacity for energy harvest, which means that this gut microbiota also knows your fat is to be deposited or is your fat is to be used to make energy. So this experiment was done here from this we can do with mice. So it's interesting. So the scientists here they took the gut microbiome from the lean mice, the mice which were thinner, and put it in the obese mice. And after a few weeks, actually, these obese mice lost weight and they became lean. So this is also an interesting phenomena, interesting role of the gut microbiome. And this study is very new. These studies are very new. Every day or every week there is something new coming up with gut microbiome and its role. And this slide, in this one, I'm telling you just the four major roles, but it has a lot of role. And we can talk about gut microbiota a lot. And maybe next series, which I am suggesting to Sequoia, we will touch upon the gut microbiota once again with new research and with interesting angle. But let's look at this. So, first of all, it promotes digestion by facilitating the absorption of nutrients. This one I've already mentioned. So, they help you to absorb the nutrients. So, once you are absorbing all the nutrients, your gut actually sends the signal to your brain about satiety. Satiety is something when you get the signal to stop eating, that you are full. And this is done by your gut microbiota. They don't play 100% role, but they play a major role. Second, it helps the digestive tract to function properly. So your digestive tract is, it works in a peristaltic movement. So it's a muscle. So your large intestine is a muscle. And so it moves like up and down to digest the food. So these gut microbiota also helps you in the helps the gut in digestion. And it creates a barrier against pathogens and toxins. So as I was mentioning, there's this good bacteria and bad bacteria. So our gut is filled with millions of good bacteria. But when a bad bacteria comes into this in their area, these good bacteria will tell the immune cells to attack the good bacteria. So they also act as a messengers. They always, if there's some encroachment in their area, they will inform the immune cells that there is an intruder, attack them. So we need this healthy microbiome community to also look out for these bad bacteria. And when the ratio of the good and the bad guys changes in favor of the bad, that is when we start developing infections. And this can happen when your immune system is actually not that strong, and then you will not get the proper signal, and then infection starts. So whenever you might have felt that if you have eaten something which is not fresh, or it is unknowingly you have eaten a bad bacteria, maybe a water which is not filtered, or not good, or some stale food, and then this bad bacteria enters your stomach, then this balance disturbs. And if your immune system is strong, and if you have a good microbial community inside you, then it will take you few hours to get back to normal. And if it is not, you have to have antibiotics to stop that bad bacteria from growing too much. So that's how the balance we need to maintain. And also plays a defensive role in the development of the immune system. It also, as it is signaling to the immune cells, it is also helping them to mature. So it also plays a major role in your immune system as well. So now, have you heard about this gut feeling? So we always say that, I'm very sure my gut is saying something to me. This is the gut feeling. I think we should do this. And for a longer time, we thought this gut feeling is just a phrase, right? It doesn't have a biological significance, but it is biologically significant because our gut is actually a second brain. A gut has a lot of neurons. Then this slide you can see all our gut, all the gut is actually your stomach to your intestine. So your intestine is actually is filled with lot of neurons. And you will be surprised, these neurons are actually more than what we have in our brain. And so your brain to your gut, the signal from your brain to gut is 20%, and your gut to brain is 80%. So if there is a two-way connection between your gut and your brain, so brain is sending signals 20% of the time, and gut is sending your brain 80% of the time the signal. What it means is that now we know that our gut is also responsible for your brain health. So now we know that most of the neurodegenerative diseases, which are associated with less of serotonin or less of dopamine signals, is actually rooted in the health of your gut. And this is mind blowing because till now we didn't knew about that. We always thought that everything which is happening in brain is because something is wrong with the chemistry or the neuroanatomy of the brain. But now we know that gut is so important, that gut is 80% of the time controlling the brain. So we need to have a healthy gut microbiome to have this connection strong and healthy. So this is called the microbiota gut brain axis. So I think I have convinced you now that this gut microbiota is why it is so important and why we should take care of it. Now, after like the food is changed, there's a lot of antibiotics which we are taking right now. And most of the time, because of COVID, we are always sanitizing our surroundings, always sanitizing our hands wherever we are going. So we are actually missing out on lot of good bacteria which are around us. And do you know, when we are handshaking with someone or when we are hugging someone, whenever there is a skin to skin contact, we are actually exchanging microbes as well. And these microbes help us to keep connected actually. So it is, the research has shown that the partners after living for like many years, their gut microbes are actually very similar. And this is the case because every time when you are shaking hands, you're actually exchanging microbes which are present in your hands. But from last 3 years, we are always sanitizing. So you can imagine that we are actually losing on this gut microbe, losing on these microbes. And these microbes are actually not bad. These are good ones. And some, because there's also interesting research. Whenever you shake hand, your first it's unconsciously you do it, you actually wipe your mouth or you put your hand in your face or something, and these this hand microbes actually go inside us. So it happens. So it is just a unconscious phenomena. Maybe next time you can see, if you are shaking hand, then suddenly your hands will go to your face or you will wipe your face. So this is how another person's bacteria on the hand go inside you. And it's not bad actually. It's actually we are shaking hands, we are giving each other our microbes, good microbes. So the good news is that our microbiome is very adaptable and we can do things about it. I will share few things which we can include and what to exclude in your diet to help your microbial community. So first, what to include? Include fermented foods in your diet. And what are these? These fermented foods are actually good microbiome, and they your diets high in plant-based fiber or fermented foods would influence the health of the gut microbiome. So these two things I will focus on mostly, fermented foods and high fiber diets. So fermented foods should be low sugar fermented foods, not high sugar. And there are a lot of options: sauerkraut, yogurt, kimchi, kombucha, natto, kefir. So there are a lot of options of fermented foods. And then high fiber diets, they are good, they are So high fiber diet is actually, as mentioned before, I also told you, these are complex carbohydrates, and once they digest in the small intestine, they take time in digestion, and so they provide food to your gut microbiome. So this is just a figure showing you different fermented foods. But then, like, how to figure out which fermented food you should buy? Because it's very confusing when you go to buy something in the market, and then you have a lot of different choices. So I also got confused, and there was this yogurt saying lactose free yogurt, right? So it is actually not right to write lactose free yogurt. What is yogurt? um, your milk is actually, it contains lactose. Lactose is milk sugar, and the bacteria actually converts the milk sugar into lactic acid. So what you get is the yogurt is converted lactose to lactic acid. So there's nothing, no such thing as lactose free yogurt. Every yogurt is lactose free. So there is this marketing terms which they put on the bottles, which are not actually scientifically accurate. So I will just tell you few things which you should look for if you are buying fermented food. And so first of all, read labels on the products before you buy. So look for whether they have a bacteria name suggested on it, whether they are mentioning the quantity of bacteria they have added, and whether it is placed on a refrigerated shelf or not. So bacteria is a living entity. Once the bacterial food is kept at 37 degree or room temperature, the bacteria is actually dividing. And if it is placed at 4 degree, the bacteria will not divide. The bacteria will remain, like they don't divide in cold temperatures. They get cozy and they don't divide. So why I'm telling you this? Because if something is being added in your product, right? There will be mentioned of, like, in yogurt, there is mentioned like 1 million lactobacillus bacteria in this product. What it means is, when the yogurt was created, 1 million of this good bacteria, lactobacillus, was added in it. And very carefully purified lactobacillus culture was added in your bacteria. And once it is added, it should be kept in 4 degree. Why? Because you don't want any bad bacteria to get in the yogurt. You only want the good one. So if the product is kept at room temperature, bacteria is everywhere. It's in your atmosphere. That bad bacteria can go inside the yogurt and can contaminate it. So you don't need that. And that is why when it is said that when you are bringing yogurt in your home and you are not using it completely, right? You take it out and immediately place it back in the 4 degree or your refrigerator. So your refrigerator, the upper chamber is -20 and the lower is 4 degree. All around that, it is set around that temperature. So when you are keeping food at 4 degree, it is actually, the bacteria inside the yogurt is not changing. It is what the company has added to you, and the company is saying it has added to you. So these are few things important, because right now a lot of fermented foods are being sold from the shelf, like from room temperature shelves, and they are not good. They are not good. They don't contain live bacteria. So these are the few things which you should see. Most fermented food will have active living culture label. Always check for fermented food in refrigerated section, and avoid shelf stable foods. They may be fermented but not contain living culture. So shelf stable foods are pasteurized, therefore will not offer same boost to the gut microbiome. They may be fermented, but pasteurization is a process which removes all the bacteria. So your milk is actually, you have seen this word on the milk bottles, pasteurized milk, which means it has undergone a lot of filtration process to remove all the bad bacteria. And in yogurt, the bacteria is actually added, and you need that, only the added bacteria is there, not anything else. So this is important to understand. So this was a study recently done. Most of the study on microbiome was done on mice, but now we have human studies as well. So this study was published few years back. In this, 36 healthy adults were followed till 16 weeks, and here they are like 14 weeks of data. So one group was high fiber and one group was fed high fermented foods. So food of that, okay, this was the food description which was given to them. So this they were eating before baseline. So before going into this study, they were eating this for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And yeah, there are two different kind of breakfasts, two different, mostly they have just selected what the average people were eating. And then high fiber diet was this, they were given mostly this two different kind of choices they can have. And after around 12 weeks, this was the result which was found. So this study is called FE54, fermented fiber food. So they found improved metabolic profile. And what it means is that the people were, whatever they were eating, they were able to digest it and absorb all the nutrients from it. And after, but this was a baseline, so their gut microbiome was low in number and diversity was less. And after just 14 weeks, the diversity increased, the number of bacteria increased. So this is amazing. Our gut microbiome is very adaptable, and this actually is a good thing and also a bad thing. So whenever we are changing diet, whenever we are going through an antibiotic course, our gut microbiome will take a toll, but we can adapt. We can change our habits again. We can improve on our food, and our gut microbiome will be flourishing again. So these are the options of like how you can mix and match high fiber and fermented food. Oh, okay. My presentation just stopped. I will restart it. So yeah, if you have questions, I can take it. I will just restart the presentation. Sometimes big files, it just crashes.
Maybe I'll just take this opportunity just to please ask everyone to turn their microphones off, just so that we're not getting that background noise while Dr. Gupta is talking. Thank you. And if anyone has any questions, please either put them in the chat or you can turn your microphone on and ask while we're waiting. Okay, it looks like we're back.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, so this is the few ideas where you can mix and match your fermented food and a high fiber food. So if I can read from here, yogurt with nuts and berries is a good option of getting fibers and getting fermented food. And hummus, lentil, sauerkraut salad, or vegetable miso soup, and kimchi fried rice, or kale and kefir smoothie. So the idea is just to think, whenever you are eating, are you having fiber in your diet? One meal of fermented food, which can be easily included as a yogurt or a kefir smoothie, or if you like kimchi, that's also a good option. And so just think about when you are eating, it doesn't take a lot. It gets into practice, and then it's always easy. So now, very important, what to exclude. Exclude, avoid processed foods. So processed foods are actually not good. Why? Because when they are going through this processing, a lot of chemicals are being added into it. So think about it. They are being shipped from far away and they have a long shelf life. So there are bacteria everywhere, right? So bacteria can spoil your food because bacteria feeds on the food and they convert it into acids, which gives that foul smell and it spoils the food. So these companies want their food to be stable, wants their food to be unspoiled for longer. So they will add a lot of emulsifiers, additives, um, preservatives, which will help to keep the food as fresh as they can. And doing that, they add a lot of sugar, they add a lot of salt, because these are addictive things, right? We know. So we will like the food. Even the taste is not there, we like it because they have added sugars and added salts in it. Apart from all that, these emulsifiers or additives or uh, the things which are added, they actually damage your intestinal lining as well. So they are not feeding your bacteria and also they are decreasing the intestinal lining. So they are not good for you at all. And there are a lot of research right now to say that. So processed foods, what do you have? Like we have four categories. uh, Number one, where the fresh ones, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, eggs and all that will come in your first group one, which is very pure unprocessed. And then there will be a somewhat processed group two, which will include the oils, which will include your breads, which will include everything which is okay, they don't have a lot of preservatives in it. Then the group 3, which is your group 3 processed foods, which will be your, which has added salt or added um, sugar in it. It actually, wine is also group 3 processed food. So they can be taken, cheese, they can be eaten but not in huge quantities, and we all know that, right? And then group 4 will be your pizzas, which you get in the refrigerated columns and all that, everything which is present in that frozen section, which comes in the boxes, all the food which is made in the boxes, like just you can fry it at home or warm it up and eat it. So all that food is comes in the group 4 ultra processed category, which should be avoided. So avoid artificial sweeteners. So there was this trend before, um, where there was like 0 calorie artificial sweeteners are good for our health because sugar was the biggest enemy. Avoid sugar, go for artificial sweeteners, and it is good for us. And there was this whole boom of artificial sweeteners, and you can find it everywhere, very easy. But now the research has shown that it actually disrupts your gut microbiome. And also, in our intestine, we have something called neuropod cells. So, neuropod cells actually can sense calories. So, they sense the calories. So, sugar is actually sweet and high calorie when compared to artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners are sweet but no calories. So what happens when I will give you both the scenarios. So when you are eating sugar, your intestine is actually recognizing it as a calorie. And calorie means good for your body because calorie is equivalent to energy. So whenever you are taking sugar, your brain is getting a signal that there is some energy intake and it's good for you. It's taken as positive. When you are taking artificial sweetener, your tongue is actually feeling sweet, but your intestine is saying it's empty calories, 0 calories, not good. And it doesn't give that signal. And in the long run, you will actually end up eating more because you are actually not getting satisfied. It's all about that connection between our gut and our brain. So it's good to go for sugar and take less sugar or no sugar than to take artificial sweeteners. And if you want that sweetness and you don't want sugar as well, there are a lot of other options: honey, maple syrup, and a lot of natural sweeteners like stevia, plant-based sweeteners, which can be added in your, which can replace. Don't go for artificial sweeteners. It's not good for gut microbiome. It's not good for your lining as well, and it's not giving you satisfactory signals of eating something good, so you will end up eating more. And last but not the least, sleep. Sleep is very effective, as I have mentioned in the first talk as well. We have two different sleep stages, right? The first one is replenishing whatever energy you have lost. The second is your restorative sleep. So in that last phase, where whatever signals you are repairing your gut in that phase. So it is helpful for restoration of your gut. And once your gut is restored, your gut microbiomes are healthy. So I will end with this. This is my last slide and one more. And so don't over sanitize your environment and use antibiotics only when necessary. We started with this, and I want to end with this. Um, we are sanitizing everything around us, and it will come as something which you are not hearing too much, but just imagine. Uh, the COVID is caused by virus, right? And what sanitizers are doing, sanitizers are killing bacteria, not viruses. A virus cannot be eliminated by a sanitizer. So we are just ending up using a lot of sanitizer, and we are not actually helping the bacteria who wants to live in us, who are good bacteria. Their role is in favor of us. So if you want to not risk getting COVID, use mask, and keep distance while talking, but don't over sanitize. Using a lot of sanitizer is not going to kill SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is just be prevented by not inhaling the water droplets released by someone while speaking or while sneezing. So that's where SARS-CoV-2 is present. So try to not avoid. Have you heard, like, we now it's actually very less, and mostly COVID BBs have suffered through it. Once, when we were child, we used to play a lot in garden. We used to play a lot in playgrounds with the mud and all the soil. And this mud and soil actually is full of bacteria, and it helps us to build our immune system when we are young. um, you must have heard, when you grow up with a pet in your home, your immune system, the child's immune system is much stronger, because that dog or cat is helping the child's immune system to get trained well. And we have actually the good ways of living. We are getting far from air. We are living in homes. We don't have this exposure to bacteria a lot, and we need diversity in our gut. So the bottom line is, we need to nurture these living microbiota cargo to best support our mental and physical health. And happy gut, happy you. So this is the message I want to leave you all with. And yeah, and if you want to learn more about different aspects of healthy aging, my book is available on Amazon. You can just search Empowering Aging, and it will give you two options. You can either get an ebook or Kindle version, or you can get a paperback version. Both are available on Amazon. And this is the last talk, but if you want to be in touch with me, this is my website and this is the email ID. You can write to me if you have any questions. You can anytime be in touch with me, and I'm very responsive. I will definitely reply to you. And thanks, Sequoia.
Thank
And
you,
thank you
Dr.
all.
Gupta. There's a couple of questions in the
Yes.
chat here. So, is erythritol monk fruit good as a sugar? or as a sweetener instead of sugar. I guess that would be similar to stevia.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's better than it's not an artificial sweetener, so I think it would be
it will be good.
good. And
Yeah.
then somebody says that she thought she thought that canned tuna and sardines were good, question mark.
Yeah. Canned tuna and sardines are good if they are not preserved. So read the labels on the on the bottle or on the cans which you are getting. I think I read somewhere actually canned tuna is good because it once that processing is done, it helps in digestion. You can absorb more nutrients. It depends upon the company as well, and I'm not very proficient in tuna and sardines. I'm a vegetarian, so I have not eaten. I don't have much information, but I have heard that they are not bad. So I think they are good. They come in, I think, grade 3 processed food, not in grade 4, so they are not bad.
Somebody asked, what is kefir? And I believe that's like a yogurt drink.
Yeah, it is like a yogurt drink, but it's not as dense as the Greek yogurt. So it's more liquidy, it's more feels like and it is actually very rich in probiotics. So I for personally, I keep both the options open for me. I like kefir a lot because it is not very tangy and it is not very dense. So if I need some smoothie or something, I will go for that. And if you need to just eat that yogurt with berries. So after coming from workout, I actually prefer to eat that high protein yogurt, Greek yogurt with berries, and it's a good thing. You are getting fermented food, you are getting protein, you are getting berries. So that is one option you can have, and also have kefir. Kefir tastes very nice. So, but don't go for natural ones. Don't go for ones with has like mango kefir or strawberry kefir. Actually, they have a lot of sugar added in, and sugar with fermented food, you are not getting all the benefits.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Really appreciate all of your great contribution to this series, and we're looking forward to more, hopefully in the future. So thank you, and thank you everybody for attending and all of your questions. It's
Thank
been
you,
a great
everyone.
series.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. And yeah,
It was great.
get in touch if you have any questions, and please do check out my book. I would love to hear the feedback.